You wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. That's out of context. That's not really what we're talking about. And they're doing it on their own. They're not being manipulated or convinced. I just was following other people's advice. I don't know what happened. You know, oh, f that. Let me turn on the microphone. All right, guys. Holy crap, it's been a while. This is going to be kind of an update stream. I wasn't even sure if I should even start it with a normal intro, but figuring what the heck. So I guess what I could do just to kind of start things out is since I haven't been around for a while, I'm trying to get my software all set up, which is doing a little weird things. I got to remember how to do everything. It's kind of bizarre. It's been a while. So let me do this real quick. That didn't work. That didn't work. Let me try this real quick. Man, this is bizarre. There we kind of go. Not really, but kind of. Oh, that's because I don't have everything running. Oh, man. It's been a weird little bit of time. That's what I can definitely say that. Let me flip back over here. All right. Welcome to Break the Cycle with DSD podcast. I am your host. I've been away for a little while, but this is going to be kind of an update stream to let you guys know what's going on and what's happening. First thing I just want to say is only a licensed professional can diagnose an individual with a personality disorder. I am not a therapist or an attorney. I'm an individual much like you who is just going through life, dealing with the things that happen and trying to make the most of it. I'm not even going to talk about channel memberships. I did send, in theory, a text notification out, so you might have seen that. If you want to be on that and make sure whenever I do these sporadic things as time goes on, it might be a good idea to sign up. If you want to do that, just text DSDLIVE to 844-598-0012. That's DSDLIVE to 844-598-0012. Standard messaging rates do apply, which I think most people have it. What do you call it? Prepaid, or not prepaid, but unlimited. So not much of an issue. I do have the phone lines open. 1-424-373-5483, 1-424-DSD-LIVE. So before I really jump to the phone lines and everything, I'm going to just talk a little bit about what's going on. I got like this weird preview thing going on. How do I turn this off? Oh, man. I don't know what is this doing here? Options window. I don't even know how to... I guess when I flip off of it, it gives me a little micro preview of what's going out. That's kind of interesting. So we got a few people here. I don't expect a lot of people. And I'm not even necessarily sure if I'll keep this video up. The one thing I'll just say is people who are on the Discord and the channel member, or not channel members, but people who are subscribed have been getting the updates, kind of updates via those mechanisms. The first thing I guess I could say is that this year did not start out the way I had anticipated. I had a plan. I thought I had a good plan. I think the universe had a different idea. So this whole thing this year started out with some changes at my job, which is what pays for all this crazy stuff and keeps the lights on. So, obviously that's my priority. And I thought that I had a pretty good system that I would be able to deal with work and the channel all at the same time. What I didn't expect was my work situation to frickin' catch on fire. And as a result, I had to readjust, so to speak, how I have been dealing with things. So that's the first part that happened. basically, I mean, just the quick summary. I'm not going to go into a lot of details, but new supervisor, a new boss, had a key member of my staff short notice say he was taking another position. He hasn't left yet, but so I'm dealing with that. And, you know, so that just, I don't know if I can really convey how this has been, unusual this has been. So I've had to basically devote basically all of my attention to work and dealing with the stressors related to that. Part of that kind of put me in a mode to where I just wasn't up to, you know, even be thinking about doing the channel. You know, if I'm not in the right frame of mind, then this is absolutely being live and on the show is not really an appropriate thing to do. Then coupled with that, I threw my back out. I don't even know if it was last week or the week before last, which made it to where I could barely move. And then the other thing that's been happening, which is really bizarre, is as this last month has been progressing along, every time I would find myself in a situation where I'm like, okay, you know, things are calming down. I mean, there was a couple of times where I'm like, all right, I think I can try to do a show. And then boom, something else happened. And as a you know, and then I just basically had to refocus my attention to other things. So here's the reality of what's going on. I don't necessarily know what this means going forward. I would like to get back into a routine, but I'm not entirely sure what the new routine is going to be. I would love it to be back with the morning show, but I've been working a lot of later hours. You know, here's the thing. If I'm working late at night, then my ability to get up at 5 a.m. to do this show is not realistic. So I'm still trying to work out what this new tempo is going to be. Worst case scenario, it might turn, I mean, it could potentially have to turn this into a sporadic program. And to be perfectly honest, guys, I've been really, really disappointed and frustrated and not really wanting to accept that reality. That's part of the reason why I just kept waiting. It's like, well, let me wait another day. Let me wait another couple of days. Let me see what happens next. Because I don't want to set something out there and say, you know, oh, okay, I'm going to go to, you know, every other week or something like that. And then I'm able to do something different, or to say, no, everything's calmed down now. I'm going to go daily again. And then something falls apart on that. I mean, it just creates a colossal problem, so to speak. Hold on a second. I want to recognize, let's see, how am I going to do this? I want to show this just because I never get to show the thing. So this is a live chat. So Tiffany did a super chat. Thank you so very much. And it's normally I would read it, right? And it would be the pair saying you're amazing, but I just wanted you guys to see it. But since some of you guys actually do enjoy whenever I do that, I wonder if I can find that. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. So normally what I would do is I would go back over here and I would say, you know, Tiffany sent me a super sticker that says pure character dancing under a rain of confetti, taking his hat off to say, you are amazing. Okay, maybe it is more funny whenever I read it. Oh my God. Anyways, guys, so it's been a weird turn of events. Not exactly, not exactly the way I've anticipated. And so here's the other, oh wow, that's not supposed to be doing that. I just heard a notifications going in my ear. So let me see if I can turn that off until this evening. Anyway, oh man, see now I'm hitting other buttons and just messing things up. So here's the other thing. My computer has been having problems. So I did a reload yesterday. Figured I'm just going to nuke it, reformat the whole thing. Apparently, Apple on their new M1 Macintoshes, because I bought one of those M1 Mac Minis, which are like the most affordable computer from Apple you can buy, and at the same time, it's like the fastest that they make. Well, okay, the $40,000 machine obviously is going to be faster, but I mean, it's still, for what you're getting, it's running circles around everything else. But I did something wrong and it kept crashing. So I'm like, Apple had told me the other day, it's like, oh, well, you might, if it keeps going, you might just need to reload it. The effers didn't tell me that you have to do a special chant, burn an incense, and, hum so that it doesn't implode on itself. So I basically bricked it yesterday, and I spent basically 3 hours until 1 o'clock in the morning trying to get it to boot, to recognize that it could install an operating system. So I'm still trying to get it all back together. All right, I'm going to look at the comments, see what you guys can say. I think that pretty much gives you an update of what's been going on. I mean, that's kind of the condensed version. The short version of it is I really, really, really want to get into the mode to where I can do the daily thing again. I'm still not sure if that's realistic. Right now, with the way things have gone at work, I might be in a situation. Here's the thing. What it might be is I might be in a situation where I can maybe able to start it back up, and then I'm going to have to just adjust when things change. If I end up having to work to cover missions or cover work from weird hours, then that's obviously going to change things. So I like this. The white chat manager says the Apple requires you to give I'm going to try to center this. Why is this not working? Requires you to give a pint of blood and burn incense. Yeah. Once I found the video that said what exactly you're supposed to do, it wasn't that bad. But if I didn't have other computers, and at one point when I was I know this is completely off topic, but at one point I looked at it and I said, okay, if you screwed up and you did it the way you did it, knucklehead, you need another computer. You need to download a special configurator software. You need a special cable to connect the two together. And then you need to do this funky sequence, turn the button on, press these keys. And then when this special mode comes up, then you can re-authenticate. And I'm like, oh dear God. I can't even, the problem I was having last night is my keyboard. The keyboard I use is this thing, which is really cool. I don't know if you can see it. I don't know if my cable's long enough. It's a mechanical keyboard, and it's saying, okay, press the two left keys on the leftmost side of the thing, and then press the right shift key and hold the power button down at the same time. I'm like, how in the, it's like, actually, I should have filmed it. It would have been hilarious, but anyway, so that was the type of crap I was dealing with. Then I found a YouTube video where a guy said, hey, I know a lot of people are having this problem, yada, yada. John says, I've never purchased anything from Apple. I don't blame you, man. I drank the Kool-Aid a long time ago back. I can't even remember what version of Windows it was. I was just so irritated with every time I tried to run a computer to run Photoshop or something, it was like, I had to run ad blockers and virus protection and everything. And I switched, and I'm a Unix guy from the old days. So the fact that Apple or Mac OS runs off of Unix is pretty cool. So jumping into the Unix shell, bash shell is pretty cool. The white chat man, those key sequences are similar to those used for firmware updates on Braille displays or Braille displays. Yeah, it was annoying. Okay, so anyways, 95 SE, it might have been James. I don't remember. It was a long. You know what? Actually, I switched to Apple before my youngest was born. So the ex was pregnant so that's 16 years ago. So whatever it was 16 years ago. All right. Okay. So any other questions on what's going on? I'm going to just scroll up. I know I kind of just went off on the thing. Nana Moo says, we'll take whatever you can manage. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Bear says, understandable. You got to do what you got to do. We'll be fully behind you. Thanks so much. Jonathan, man, I haven't heard from you in a while. Oh, I need to mention something on that too. Says, hi, Duane. It's Jonathan. I have my kids now, but I wanted you to know I'm still following you. Because of that, I'm still validated and inspired by your work. Oh, thanks, man. I'm glad to hear things are going better. It's been a while since we've chatted. Yeah. Okay. So, all right. I don't know why he's doing that or why that's popping up. See, I also have to get, oh, I know what I need to do. I need to see again, what I was telling you is that I have, 30 seconds. I had all these configurations that I had that I have to re-put back in. And, I had to rebuild a lot of stuff and rebuild all my key boxes and stuff like that. It's been really weird. Okay. So Shell of the Crab says, DSD, your authenticity, geez, is your USP, the Pied Piper of personality disorder recovery. However, if you understandably need some time out, grab it and we'll be here for you when you return. I really appreciate that. I just hope that things just don't go to complete toast. You know, I've worked a lot on this whole thing, and you know, I was having such a hard time last year that it's just different. Like the beginning of last year, I was just burnt out on everything. This year I wasn't burnt out, and I basically just kind of got blindsided, and it was just completely unexpected. So oh man. All right. This is going to be a test because I'm not entirely sure if this is going to work, but I do have a caller who's been sitting waiting. So I'm going to see if I can pull him in and if it'll work. I gotta remember what button it's on. Here. Okay. I think I got it. Hello. Welcome to the show. Are you there?
Hi, Duane. How are you?
As I was saying, I've had better months. How things going with you, man?
Well, before I get to me, I just wanted to say regarding your situation, I mean, the fact that you could put on the show and have just a full-time job and deal with your situation, because, you know, all of us who are listening to the show, well, vast majority of us can relate to how hard it is to deal with a situation like this with your kids. The fact that you put on the show and do all this stuff is absolutely incredible. So I agree with what the last person said. If you need to take a break, you know, you're very unique. Actually, I just made a friend. Actually, it's an old friend of mine. It's one of my brother's friends when we were kids. He's going through a similar situation, and I just referred him to you.
Oh.
And it's you know, I think your audience is going to grow, and I don't even think you need to come on the air that often. I think if you just put out a show once a week, you know, or once even every other week, just keep it going, and people see once they find you, then they find your other content.
Yeah, that's true.
I think you can go into maintenance mode if you want to. I don't think you need to do the every day. When you first started, you were only putting out shows every once in a while, and those shows were honestly almost as valuable as these shows are, because it was when I was just starting to get into it. So
yeah,
you know, you should feel good about whether you're scaling back or doing it full blown. You know, there's a lot of people who
I appreciate you saying that, man. I just my only worry about it is because I know, you know, how the old OBE, overcome by events. I know if I don't have a routine, it's going to be hard to have another type of schedule, right? Because my old schedule of doing things intermittently, which I mean, it's just that may not, you know, wasn't sustainable. So I don't know, but I appreciate you saying that. I just gotta basically take a look and see, you know, try to find a new battle rhythm that I can actually do. So we'll have to wait, and I'll have to see how it goes. Anyways, what's going on? It sounded like you had an update in the comments. You got an update, got some improvement. Well, that's good, because it's been a while. It's been way over 20 days since we've spoken last, or since you've had a chance to call in, because I haven't had a show. That's a long time. What's going on, man?
Yeah, so sorry if there's too much noise in the background. I'm trying to make started cooking my dinner when I saw your show pop up. And I don't want to stop cooking now, but that's loud. Sorry. I just wanted, it's really hard for me to talk about it completely because I'm in court, in the details, and
Yeah.
so I'm trying to find a way I can explain the situation without giving away anything too confidential. But I can tell you, generally speaking, things are heading in a good direction. One of the comments I'll make, which kind of is indicative of the situation, is that it's just amazing how few people really understand.
Oh man, yeah.
This stuff. It's just like Steve Miller actually put out a paper last year, which kind of echoes this video they put out with him, where he talks about how parental alienation is counterintuitive and how most people don't only get it wrong, they get it backwards, right? They point the finger at the parent that's basically the better parent that's not pulling the crap on their kids. And I've seen it firsthand now. I've seen court officials get confused, and listen to lies that children are saying, and it's like children can lie about all kinds of things, and it's just right there, it's like people don't know when they're dealing with it when they have it. They hear about kids lying about, and the kids aren't even lying about anything that dramatic, but it's dramatic enough. They say it in a way so that the judge thinks, well, maybe there's something wrong with this guy, and he's got. It's hard to get into. It's hard to really describe without getting into the details and without people going, well, what is the problem?
Well, yeah, I was going to say I was going to summarize, but I'm afraid to summarize with your current state. I don't really want to say anything. I guess I could maybe if I can ask a question, and if it's inappropriate or you can't talk about it or whatever, let me know. But the last I recall is that your kids were really starting to push away and pull away from you. Has there been any change with that, or is that still going? Is that getting worse, or is that still happening, or can you even say?
It's about the same.
That's a bummer.
Not to get into too many details,
yeah,
but
no,
I can
understand.
tell you that the amount of time that I'm seeing them, I think there's people in prison that see their kids more.
That's so annoying.
On a regular basis than I do. It's just horrible. It's just really, really bad. I'm barely seeing them. But when I see them, I could tell you they're happy to see me. They're talking my ear off.
That's great, man.
I try to mix it up.
That's a good thing. It's not great whenever they're throwing you under the bus everywhere else, but at least the alienation hasn't worked enough to torpedo that part of it.
Yeah, I had I really took care of these kids really quite a bit. Not quite a bit, a lot.
Probably,
not probably. I definitely part-time parent for them when they were infants and toddlers and when they were younger before I moved out of the house more than she did. And so, it was just, so when they say this stuff to me, it's just unbelievable. It's believable to people because my kids are pretty smart and they could present these lies pretty well. But I know exactly what's going on. Here's an example. When they're with me in the house, I try to pack in a lot into those 2 hours. I only see them for 2 hours, like a week. To try to pack in a lot. We have dinner, and then we'll watch a little show. When we're watching we're having dinner, they're talking my ear off. We're watching the show. They're leading me, and then we go out of my apartment, and we head down to where the mother's going to pick them up, and they completely won't come near me. They act like I'm a leper.
Yeah.
They won't come near me. There's no smiles. There's no affection. And it's obvious to me what's going on.
Yep.
It's been obvious to me for a long time, but other people just don't get it because these people with these personality disorders, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it, people who are manipulative like this, whether it's personality disorder or not, they're good at putting on a performance. And you've talked about this a million times, and it's just shocking that when you're actually going through it and you're seeing the kids getting, the strings getting pulled like puppets, that people just can't see it. They just don't understand. And but the good news is that I was telling you there's some good news. The good news is that we're going to have some interventions that should help to get to the bottom of it, and that should also help to secure my time and turn around what's been a bad situation.
What is that? What does that mean? An
allow me to
intervention?
see
What
the
do you
kid.
mean by that? That's kind of interesting. What kind of intervention?
Yeah, like somebody to actually go to the house and make sure the kids are okay to actually come from one household to the other.
Oh,
Actually
okay.
have a
Okay.
witness, because he's saying the kids don't want to see me and that they're violently resisting, which is unbelievable because
Right.
then they'd. I mean, it's possible they would really have to be putting on a pretty amazing performance at that point,
Yeah.
because it's all a performance. When they tell me they don't want to see me, like, it's obvious to me that it's a performance. There's no feeling behind it. But it's just bizarre. It's like the court thinks that if kids say they don't want to see you, you just, what do you do? And if they don't believe it's the mother's fault, you're just sort of in this limbo state, and I mean, I'm also in a state, as you know, where they're really not open to, they're really not so favorable to dads.
Yeah.
And I'm in one of those states that really is like that. I think if I was in California, I had like a custody evaluator involved, like my buddy I just talked about earlier. They tend to see through this stuff a little better. I don't know why.
Man, it's so weird you say that,
like
because
that over here.
you would think that California would be the worst place, So I'm
Well,
I mean, I
the
guess
Shared Association put together, it used to be called the National Fathers Association. Now it's called the National Parents Organization. They put a report out on shared parenting, and they gave a failing grade to only 2 states, not only in terms of whether they passed the legislation, but whether they're considering it, how they're enforcing it, just the general orientation towards shared parenting, which is usually code word for giving dads enough time, because that's how it goes 90% of the time, Mom.
right.
And so what they said is that the state I'm in is one of only 2 states that got a failing grade on this report.
That sucks, man.
Yeah, but we're getting there. I mean, I feel like there's like so much more information coming out every few months, getting, the detractors from parental alienation are sort of going away. The momentum on it is becoming stronger. I think it's still going to be a few years before they actually make the connection to how important this is to actually having experts and specialists in the court who can actually intervene in a way where they understand, they can read the situation. I mean, if kids are saying they don't want to see a parent, and there's no abuse and there's no neglect and there's nothing negative going on except maybe some innuendo about some things that are really benign, which is classic parental alienation.
Yep.
If that's happening, like, and the court doesn't even suspect it,
No,
that's a problem.
it's I'm trying to think of the right word. It's just crazy. I mean, it's like you would think that someone would look at it and go, wait a minute, this, like I've said before, it makes no sense. People should look at it whenever kids are saying, oh, I hate daddy. Well, why? Because, it's like, wait a minute, what,
Well, they're not saying they hate me. It's more like they're saying I'm annoying.
Yeah, but see, that in and of itself should be an indicator, like, wait a minute, why would a child be saying that they don't want to see another parent because they're annoying? What the hell is the other parent doing to even, I mean, that shouldn't even end up in court. That should be something to where, that the other parent at day one should have said, I don't care, little Timmy. If you're annoyed with your dad, he's your dad. You're going to go spend time with him. It's important for him to be in your life, and we're not playing this game. And then what happens is that now you're and part of the problem is you got these damn attorneys who are looking at your bank account and thinking, well, I should be able to squeeze $100,000 out of this guy, and I'm being a little hyperbolic, but
I have a guy that's working on a fixed fee.
No, I know. I mean,
he just doesn't get alienation. He actually doesn't even see what's really happening himself. And, I've been almost switching attorneys, but the only reason I stuck with this guy is because of the financial part of it.
Yeah.
Because all the other people want an arm and a leg.
Oh, absolutely.
So.
No, I know, man. But the thing is I'm glad to hear that when the kids are with you, they're not, that attitude is not leaning into when they're with you, right? I mean, that right there is the indicator that you're in a crappy situation, you're doing okay. What always makes me nervous is when somebody calls in or they do a coaching call or they, send me an email and they're saying the kids, the kids are saying they don't want to see me. And then when they're here, they're breaking stuff, they're yelling at me, they're screaming, they're saying all these horrible things. That's when it's gotten to the point that, it's not impossible to come back from that, but it's a lot harder, right? With the situation you're in, as long as you can continue to have time with your kids, you're going to be in a better situation. But it's just tough because, the kids, the more time they spend with the other parent, the more time they're being indoctrinated to this new groupthink. And it does affect your relationship, and it affects you because you're sitting there and every time they do it, it freaking hurts. When the kids jab you in the eye, it hurts.
Say to anyone else who's going through this or thinks they might be going through this, there are things you can do. And I don't mean to brag and say I've been perfect. I've definitely fallen into some of the traps, but I think compared to most parents, I think I've probably done a lot better.
No, you've done good.
As soon as I saw this happening years ago, I started researching parental alienation because it freaked me out. The first time my son said, "I don't want to spend the day with you,"
yeah,
I was like, "What? What the hell?" I didn't even know what I knew what narcissism was, but I didn't know parental alienation.
Yeah,
I may have seen it in a video, one of yours, but I still didn't make. It takes time to actually figure out what the heck it is, even if you've heard of it. It's not intuitive, right? Just like I was saying earlier, all these people who deal with it all the time still don't get it. So even when you're dealing with it firsthand, it takes time to sink in.
Oh, absolutely.
And,
yeah.
But once it did, I was able to counter it in a lot of different ways. The main thing is that you don't get mad at your kids, and you don't fall into the trap. So, for example, my kids would come over and they'd say, "We got to leave early." And I say, "Well, what? What are you talking about?" They say, "Yeah, we got plans. We're having dinner plans with a friend." I'm like, "Well, she can come over here." Like, no, we got to go. I'm like,
yeah, I remember you telling me that one.
Yeah, but I let them leave in the end. Was that I could have justified, said, "No, guys, this is our time." I know. I guess it sounds like mommy maybe booked the, but I didn't do that.
Yeah,
and that would have been the easy. And that's what my lawyer told me to do. He's like, "Well, you don't let them leave. That's your time."
Yeah, people don't. Yeah,
the lawyers.
I remember us talking about that on the air before too. And I mean, the reality is that it's a double bind, and you can actually you make that other decision, which you're absolutely right and could justified in doing, but you win, but the cost is too high. You really have to be careful on what you choose for your battles. No, you're doing it right, man. You sound, I know, I think the last time you called, you were doing okay. You sound like you're doing okay. Now, before you weren't. So, it seems like even with everything going on, you're keeping your head on straight, which is outstanding.
Well, I feel like the court maybe has started to see through things, because at some point it's like, so what are you going to do? We're just going to say it's okay to barely see my kids based on that?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
What it makes it's crazy. So, they don't want to get involved in these kids. They just want the case to go away. But at some point, it's like, sorry. And I think they literally want to wash their hands of it because it's such a drain on the court to deal with these cases. And but I think they saw. I think one of the things that I did well is I carried myself well in front of the judge while she kept talking over him, and she wasn't erratic, but she wasn't. I wouldn't say she was fully respectful either.
Have you had another court date in the last 20 days?
Yeah, actually. I did.
Okay. So
the things that he told my lawyer, I never heard firsthand. So that court date was about hearing, from the court exactly what the kids were saying. So, and actually it got me more baffled at that point. I was just like, really? One of the things they said was that I tell them I love them too much.
Who said that? Wait a minute. Who said that?
The kid said that to the court.
The kids said, "Daddy says he loves me too much, and it makes me uncomfortable."
Yeah.
Jeez. You know what? If the courts,
they must have set some emotion behind it, like they were truly annoyed because the way it was conveyed to me is like, you're really a menace to these kids. And I'm like, you people are nuts.
Yeah.
And the other stuff was like, I want them to play
Wow.
video games and stuff, like crazy stuff.
No,
And
but
it's
I mean,
not even true, even if it was.
yeah. Well, and
the case, but
hopefully
it's not
now, I mean,
true.
and the thing is we just got to give, we got to give the toxic X the rope to hang themselves. And it sounds like, and you know, by your actions not falling into it, it sounds like what you're saying is they're starting to see like, hey, something's not right here. You know, this doesn't make sense. Okay.
Yeah, I think
That's
so. I
crazy.
think it's starting to sink in for them.
Well, good,
Nuts.
man. I mean, hopefully you'll get some type of a decent outcome. Hey, I know you're in the midst of doing stuff, so I should probably let you go.
Okay.
Have a good dinner,
Well, great
dude.
to connect with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Great to hear you back on the air, and you're awesome, Duane. You've helped so many of us. Keep up the fight, man.
Thanks, man. Well, that was it's been a while since I've been on to even think about stuff like this, so oh man. You know, the key on this is just the perseverance, being able to stick through it. I mean, basically take the blows, keep getting up, not make the mistakes, and then be able to just wait it out long enough for the system to start going, hey, wait a minute. This really, really doesn't make any sense. All right. So I think I finally found the moderator Debbie file. I think. Yeah, it looks like it. So let's see. John had asked a question. It says, Duane, in regards to your children in college, are you and the ex involved in their planning? My ex thinks I'm not entitled to know what the kids are going to college for. Oh, okay. I had to read the second thing. Okay. Are you and the ex? Yes, we're both involved. We don't communicate together about it. We haven't communicated about pretty much diddly squat in the last, 7 or 8 years. I've been the big push in a lot of ways on the college thing. So I think I've had a little bit more influence on the kids, but but it's not like either or. So anyways, okay, I answered your question. Are you and the, yes, we are both involved. So I do want to highlight this other one. David A says, hi, it's David from Southern Spain. I know the Morón de la Frontera Air Base. So David, are you a Spaniard or are you an American? Shared custody of my kids, but the MPD mom going too far with the silent treatment. My kid 7 wonders what is going on. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so you are separated. See, here's the thing. A silent treatment is punishment. So there's not much you can do about it other than typically what will happen is if you don't chase somebody who's giving you a silent treatment, typically, especially if they're narcissistic, typically what will occur is they will go, oh crap, David's not following me. He's not responding. And then they'll take their finger and they'll go boop right in your eye to try to get you to react. So, I would be, if your 7-year-old is saying, hey, what's up with mommy? And just say, well, sometimes people get angry and they just need a break. Something like that, right? I mean, you don't want to turn around and say, I got something weird on my desk. You don't want to turn around and say, well, your mom's a psychopath who's playing emotionally manipulative games and is thinking that if she pretends I don't exist, that I'll get some type of reaction and come crawling back. I mean, that's the reality, but you don't want to say that. Well, you want to say that. Oh, Tiffany, thank you so much. Let's see here. Tiffany did another super chat and says, 52 viewers equals 52 likes. Hit that like button. Thanks so much. I appreciate that. So anyways, that's funny. Okay. So let me just look. Oh God. I'm not going to be, let's see, how long have I been on? 40 minutes. I'll probably just do an hour because as soon as I'm done, I'm going to pack it. Well, I'm not packing anything up. I'm going to pack me up and I'm going to run up, and Debbie and I are going to do some stuff this evening, I guess. Afternoon. Well, it's way afternoon now. We're going to play with some cameras and audio equipment and stuff. It should be a fun time. I'm finally at the point. I mean, yesterday, I think, was it yesterday? It was a couple of days ago. I did something. I had to run up where Debbie's at, and we went out to dinner, we were doing some Final Cut Pro stuff. And, that was the first time in like 2 weeks that I even been out of the house, I think, especially since I threw my back out. As you can see, I got my cool walking stick that doesn't look like a cane. So when I have to use it to pull myself up straight, it won't be so bad. All right, let me just double check the comments here before I take the next caller. Dan Ski says, too many good parents dealing with broken people and a broken system. Yeah. And it works to try to break people in the process. Let's see. Oh, I do want to, let's see here. I'll just mention this for anybody who's new or maybe hasn't thought about it or whatever. If as things go forward, if you're not a member of the Discord, I would seriously encourage you to become one, on top of signing up for the text notifications. But if you go to the main YouTube page, in the banner, which is, this awesome picture with all this stuff in here, you'll see a link for the website, PayPal for donations. And this one, which, I mean, I don't edit this much, but this little button over here, let's see, I don't know if I can make my mouse bigger. Yeah, right over there in the corner is the Discord invite link. If you click that, it'll take you to Discord. It'll help you create an account, and it'll give you the invitation link to get to the DSD Discord server. And then once you're in there, then you'll have a better opportunity to interact with people and stuff like that. So if you're not on the Discord, I would definitely encourage you to check that out. I saw somebody mention something about the Discord. So I'm going to go to another caller. Let me get everything set up here. Hello, welcome to the show.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing today, man?
Yay, good. This is Cammy versus Bud, actually. Right on.
Hey, Cammy. So what's going on, man?
I just wanted to say good to see you. I'm good to see you. I'm super stoked that you're on the air and everything else. Yay.
Thanks,
we
man.
We were waiting for a month.
Yeah, I know.
Right on.
I know. It's just
right
been
on,
it's been
totally.
crazy. So how are things going with you? Are you getting I know the last time we spoke, you had a bunch of stuff going on. Has anything changed with that?
Yeah. Let's see. What was it? Oh, I was on my way to go back to my home stomping grounds and stuff to take care of Mama and stuff. Yay. And then, shenanigans still. I thought 21 was supposed to be easier. What's up? How's this going?
Yeah, I kind of sometimes it feels like 2021, basically looked at 2020 and said, "Hold my beer." It's been a weird one.
Yeah, I've seen that one. Oh my gosh. So shenanigans, I called the new public defender I got, and he gives me notice that I have a warrant out for my arrest for something I don't know about yet. So,
oh man,
shenanigans still.
Is it related to that event, or is it related to something different?
It's related to something different, I guess. She said, but
is it child support or something? Is it support payments or anything, or do you know?
No, it's just new allegations.
Oh, so this is
I
stuff.
guess it's the best way I could say about that.
Well, what in the world would
same person, just new allegations?
And that's resulted in a bench warrant, or just another type of warrant, or do you know?
Yes, like a warrant for my arrest. So I have to call them and figure out what's going on
man.
with that. No worries. And then the trial that was supposed to be coming up got pushed back till God knows when. They said somewhere around 3 or 4 months is where they're looking around now because of the COVID thing. They just like canceled it because of the COVID thing.
Right.
So no worries. We all understand delays.
But the warrant has nothing to do with that charge. That's for something completely different. And your public defender didn't give you any idea what that was about?
The best he could say was, I sent lewd pictures to her somehow. We'll find out what that means.
All right. Did you have a restraining order, or were you basically directed not to contact her for anything?
Oh no, this is off of Talking Parents app.
Really?
It was right on there. I guess it was a screenshot. Maybe it was my ugly face. Who knows?
Oh, dude, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're going through that. So just
okay.
Keep your chin up and just, walk through it. And sorry to hear that, man.
Hey, but at least I'm around people that care this time and not by myself.
Yeah, no, that's a good thing.
Difference.
Yeah, no, you sound like you're doing better. So that's a good part. Is your mom doing better?
Yeah, my dad's in the hospital again, but.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, keep
well,
your chin up. Thanks for calling.
So much.
Yeah.
No worries. It'd totally be good to hear from you like once a week or something like that. That'd be grand.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. These people just don't stop, right? I mean, there's always something. I swear we get dipped into these situations and we have to basically endure and persevere. And everyone's story is a little bit different. Everyone's little path is going to be different. What the crazy part is that they're all equally, maybe in retrospect, you look at it later and it might be like, wow, okay, mine in comparison to the other person's not so bad. But when you're in the midst of it, it's really, really tough. And it's amazing how much these people try to push you to just break you. And it's by design, right? I mean, it's what they're trying to do. They're trying to break your spirit, trying to break you on just the whole thing. So, oh, nice. Okay, David says, I'm in the Spanish Army. I'm a software engineer at the base. I'm separated and she hasn't said a word since I got shared custody 2 years now. Wow. The reason for separation, she was living a double life. Yeah, man, that's tough. And honestly, it's kind of reminiscent to what my situation, in the fact that, there's just no communication. And she's probably, if it's been 2 years that she's doing it, then she's just irritated that you got shared custody and it's part of it. And that's the only way she can try to do it, to punish you. So, and if you're I'll tell you, okay, so different topic, David. Says you're an engineer at the base. So I'm assuming you're at Marron. I love that place, man. I really enjoy. I was in Spain from when was it? 1990. Summer of 1990 to 1993 is when I came back to the United States. And the Spanish people were so freaking cool. The area, the base, it's an air base. It's kind of like a forward operating type base. Not really, but I mean, it's like the Air Force people that were there. It's like 30 active duty Air Force people. And there was a Navy HF site. And there was like, I don't know, another 20 or 30 people there. So it's really small, right? So small enough, in my opinion, and I don't know, and David will have to tell me if this is true, that we didn't ruin it for the local economy, right? I mean, it wasn't like there was thousands of annoying Americans just, ruining it. It was a small group of people. So you could really get to interact and have a much better time. And David, one of the things I do remember from being there, right under the control tower, well, not right under the control tower, but in that general area, there was a little, I can't remember what the hell it's called, cafe that had, so every morning we'd go get our cafe con leche. I remember the first time I was there, my boss took me, and I literally like the second day I was there, he took me into the cafe and was like, all right, I'm going to get you a coffee. And I hadn't had real coffee before. And he goes, and I'm going to get you a tostada. And I'm thinking, tostada, I mean like cheese and, like what I'm used to, what a tostada is in California. And it was like a thing of toast. It was toast. And I'm like, huh. But they had cinnamon, which I can't remember what the word for cinnamon in Spanish. And I'd make cinnamon toast with it. I'd take a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of sugar, put it on there with a nice shot glass of espresso with half espresso, half steamed milk. Man, those are some good times. I not to make light of what you're going through, David, but I just wanted to, you're bringing me back to some decent memories. I guess the only odd part about it is that I was there with the ex, and that was when everything's were just starting to get bizarre. I should have hit the eject button back then. I miss Marone. That was a cool place. So anyways, I'm going to go to another caller who's been sitting in the queue for a few minutes. Let me hit the button. Hello, welcome to the show.
Hi, this is Bill.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Hey, all right. Yeah. I talked with you back in, I think it was October. My ex did a PPO on me for asking her to get the kids tested for trauma and PTSD because of psychological abuse.
Right.
And she went and, so anyway, I went to court and the judge, we fought it, and the judge said, okay, let's do this. Why don't you pay for her testing? You get tested, and we'll see what happens with the PPO.
Okay.
So I got an appointment, was like 20 days later. I went and got tested, did that personality test on the PCLR, and the Minnesota one took about 3 hours, and paid my $500 and walked out. I come back, I'm relatively normal. I do not have a cluster B. We're still waiting on her.
Oh, okay. I'm like, and?
I went, yep, she hasn't done it yet.
Oh, she's probably going to slow roll it.
Well, let's see. It's been 4 months now. So, and it's free, by the way. I just want to let you know, I have to pay for her test. And this is volunteer. The judge didn't order it. He volunteered it. So I went
she'll never
for
do it if it's not
my
ordered.
last visit. Exactly. And, that'll show him, the judge, what's going on. Well, I went Friday to the doctor that administered the test because it was the final. Because my attorney filed to terminate the PPO because she's not cooperating. And so I got the court date in February to terminate the PPO. So I had to go back there for him to submit the paperwork for the judge on me. And so she hasn't done anything. So the doctor was saying, so what are you going to do now? And I said, well, this is about the children. I got the PPO because of the children. And he said, well, I can't make her come in here literally. I mean, he goes, I could ask the judge to court order her, but to do that, he would need to see her. And I said, yeah. I said, so what? And he says, I'll tell you what I will do, though. We'll cut her out of the loop. And I said, what? He goes, we'll just cut her out completely. And I said, well, how do I explain that to me? What do you mean? And he says, I'll get a court order to have the children come in here and I'll test them.
Okay.
Yeah. I was surprised.
That sounds good.
I was shocked. I did that. That was his idea. Because he said, usually he goes, we bring them in, we find the problem. If one of you is dirty on the test, and then we bring the kids in, and we hunt which one is the person that's causing the damage to the children.
Right.
Right. And he says, she don't even want to do this. It's her PPO, but she don't want to defend it. So I already know what the judge is going to do. And I said, yeah, okay. But he says, but your goal is the children, right? Because you wanted to get the kids tested.
Right.
And I said, well, that was the initial goal, but she punished me because, can't have that. We got to deflect it. And well, anyway, so he said that this week coming up that he'll file with the court to get a court order for the children to have to come to him to be tested. And she doesn't have to.
That's awesome.
So I can't believe it. I can't believe it at all. That calling her out and asking, because we got 50-50 on the medical with the children.
Right.
And ask the state relentlessly hitting her with there's problems. We need to get this. My kids acting out. My kids, when they're with me, she says, when they're with me, I have no problem. But when they're with you, they're monsters. What are you doing to them?
Right.
You know that routine, right?
Yeah.
So I kept saying, but you won't let me take them to the children's psychologist's office. You've already triangulated that, and you told them I'm a horrible monster. They don't even want to see me. I said, so if you've got no problem and you could take them to the psychologist, and I can't take them to the psychologist because they don't want to see me because of the lies you told them, then I'm the one with all the problem with the children, and no one cares. I want to go get them tested. Got a PPO on me.
That's awesome.
So
that's not awesome. It's annoying, but I mean, just for this to go this way, and now she's going to.
You're right.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right because the whistle's blown. I mean, it's blown wide
open.
Well,
and as soon as the court orders her to do it, she doesn't have a choice. I mean, if she doesn't, then she's violating a court order, which she'll slow roll that as much as possible too. Well,
that's what he said.
Yeah.
He told me straight up. The doctor said, "Listen, we're just going to cut her out."
Yeah.
He goes, I don't need her to file a new parenting plan with the court. And I stood up and I went, what? And he goes, no, we don't need her.
That's all. I think that's almost good enough to do this. Isn't it awesome when people start to see it? I mean, that's.
Well,
and that's what you would hope. I mean,
know that much.
Well, and that's what you would hope from a professional. You would hope a professional would look at it objectively and go, hey, wait a minute, something's wrong here. So, but I'm sorry, I interrupted you. He said he doesn't really know what?
No. He doesn't. He told me straight up. He says, if you're going to pay for the test and it's free, the judge hasn't ordered anybody, but you ran in here and got it over with.
Right.
And you're telling me that you'll pay cash for her, you pay cash for you, and you're asking to get the kids tested and she won't cooperate. Surely there's a problem here.
That's awesome.
And it's not you.
What's your so are you seeing your kids at all right now? I can't remember. It's been a while.
Yeah. My custody is the normal one for my state. I get them Tuesdays and Thursdays from 3:30 until 7. We exchange at the police station. And then I get them Saturday or a Sunday from 10 until 6. But just had them today.
No overnights, huh? No overnights.
Oh no, I won't do that because she already told me that she would do sexual allegations on the children if I did that. And I went, well, then I'll tell this to the front of the court. And I did. And I like it because I get more time with them in the daylight hours.
Yeah, that's true. Good point. Now you're making the most of it.
Yeah, I do. And I can help. And I'm there for the homework, and my son is failing school. So as I told him, and the doctor says, listen, don't do anything. And I said, what? He goes, you're Mr. Fix-It. She knows that. Don't do anything. Leave him alone. Let him fail school. And I said, doctor, what? He says, listen to me.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, he's going to fail. He's been doing it for a year. So stop. That's what she wants you to try to frustrate you. So just stop. You can always get a tutor. I can send a thing to the school to catch him up. They'll get a aid from the state to come in and help him. Kids are really good when someone loves them and gives them, support. They're going to be like, I can't remember, he said like an orchestra, a singer. They'll be wonderful when their attention is put in the right spot.
That is so true.
And
but the reality is, and what I think what's fascinating with what you're saying right now, and I wish somebody would have said this to me, is it's counterintuitive, right? I mean, you really have to it's looking at the bigger picture as opposed to looking at the immediate problem. And he's right. I mean, if you let it fail and she has the majority of the time, it really looks more like it's her fault on her watch. And you can use that later to try to drive that point home. I mean, I actually screwed myself on that one. Ow.
Oh yeah, it's difficult to know the rules because
Yeah.
there's not a whole lot of information out there on how to deal with this because you're so twisted inside and you're panicking because your kids are hurting right in front of you and
Yeah.
you're trying to be able to manage this. It's a pain in the ass. It
Oh,
really
yeah.
is.
It really is. Yeah.
But back to what the doctor he was saying. Don't worry, let it go. Don't do anything. Let this run its course. I got this. And I said, well, I got the kids between this time. I can bring them in and stuff. And he says, he told me, he says, you know, I just told you not to fix it. I said, what? He goes, don't fix it. Leave it alone. And I said, why? I mean, she's not going to bring them in here. He says, you know, that's what state troopers are for. I'll have them picked up at the school and brought to my office. I was like, oh,
dude, I would listen to this guy, you know, and I mean, cause it's like, he's
mad. He's
good.
mad. That's what's wrong. He's mad because she, you know, there's a problem with the children and she's not problem solving.
No, she's playing a
game. She doesn't want to face the reality that she's wrong.
No, well, she wants her narrative. Her narrative is out there and she doesn't want anyone to interfere with that or say something different. So no,
I got her over a barrel with the with the PPO. She's gonna, you know, that's gonna bite her in the tail.
Yep.
And now I got her with the testing.
Yep.
And that's gonna bite her in the tail. I got her in a box. I really do.
No, you do.
You know, when you don't know what to do, you don't do anything. So she's not gonna face it.
Nope.
He said, I can't believe you waited this long because the court order or we went to court the 5th of October. I was tested on the 10th of November. And look at us now. We're in the 20s of January, and granted we had the holidays, but you know she only lives 8 miles away from the doctor's office.
They just play these games. Oh yeah, no. I mean, I'm glad you found somebody who's holding her accountable. I mean, that's phenomenal. So good for you, man.
The sad news is the guy doesn't really understand the alienation part. He just knows there's a master problem going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to because I've talked with Amy Baker. What I'm going to do is I'm going to if he'll stamp it that there's alienation, okay. If I can get that, then I'm going to ask for what's her name in New York, Linda Gottlieb's program for the children.
Oh, okay.
That's expensive for that reunification, 90 days to break the trauma bond, no contact. And then that office will watch my ex and put her through counseling for 2 years. Good. And then they'll she'll have supervised visitation and then the kids will, and they'll have a code word. They'll train the children that if there's any manipulation or they're in pain or anything like that when they're with her, that they will be able to give. It's a 504 plan set up through the school so that they could tell a school teacher the word and the state troopers will come and pick them up, take them to the police station, get a police report, and they go automatically back to me.
Wow. That's awesome, man.
That's Linda Gottlieb's program in New York. So I haven't spoken with her because she's got to be a non-biased person. But I've done a lot of research, and Amy Baker, when I've spoken with her, she told me that there's 2 programs in the United States that are extremely expensive, but I've been saving my butt off to be able to come up with the money to be able to activate this program. If I can get the judge to sign the court order, it's over with because they won't go to counseling and work on themselves, you know?
Yeah, they won't.
They just won't admit they're wrong.
Nope.
So they would, yeah. So she said that, Amy said that there's like 5 people that she's ever known that actually, you know, did the program and graduated and didn't have a problem with the kids out of all the clients that she had. So what I'm trying to say is that you got to outthink them.
Yep.
And if you can understand how you injure them and how you make them mad and how they retaliate, there's a fine. They don't think like the average people with empathy. Our empathy blocks it. But if you call them out, they're going to react to it. Okay, just like when you were living with them and you said something and they blew up in front of you, you're like, what? And that is what you can use in the court.
Absolutely.
You trigger them, they're going to run amok. There's your evidence. And then you snap it, you know, you snap it back into court on them, and they're going to repeat that, and you just keep provoking them. Mine won't give me any medical information. She won't give me. We have 50-50 on medical. So, I've been asking, can you tell me what's going on with our children, with the dentist appointments, with this stuff? My son's failing school. Can we talk about the education? There's a PPO on me. We talked to the attorney, and
Right.
she won't communicate. So she hasn't communicated with me for 4 months with the children. Do you have any clue what that looks like in front of a judge, that there's no cooperation, no co-parenting, no information sharing?
Yeah. And if you're able to do it to where you're not making any mistakes, it drives the spotlight right on her. And that's what you're doing exactly.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
I mean, everything that I try to tell everyone to do, you're doing it masterfully.
Oh my gosh! Using the attorneys instead of the apps and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That I just simply will not communicate with her. If I get anybody call me, I block them on my phone. Email address, I block it. Nothing. It's going to be right through.
Yeah.
It's going to go right through my attorney. So I talk with her through her attorney sees it. See, here's the benefit to this. This is amazing. If her attorney's got empathy, all right,
Mm-hmm.
and he's not a monster, he's going to see. You're trying, you're sending this,
Yep.
you're asking, you're abiding by the rules relentlessly. It's coming. And then he's going to see her behavior. When they close the door with the judge, the two attorneys, what do you think her attorney's going to do?
Throw her under the bus. That's what I think.
Thank you.
No, I mean,
there's going to be a crappy attorney, right?
Well, not a
that's
crappy
exactly
attorney,
what's
but when
gonna
they're having private, closed doors conversations, and what the hell is he going to say if your attorney says, hey, Your Honor, we keep sending all this stuff, but I don't get anything back, and the judge looks to him and says, hey, Bill, why won't your client answer? Well, I think she's got some I don't know. They'll never tell us what those conversations
you
are.
it. You're right.
Oh, yeah.
So you're literally turning the light on her
Yep.
attorney's office because it's expensive because it's $30 a email.
Oh,
But
yeah.
and she's got to pay her end of it.
Yep.
But yeah, I do it. I do it relentlessly, and she's not answered me once through the. My kid brought me a note, and she gave me an update on a medical, and I gave it back to her. Or him, and I said, "You give it back to her. Tell her to go to the attorney and send it to you. I'm not reading it. Take it." And the children aren't supposed to share information.
No, they're
right?
not. No, she's actually making a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, and I took a picture of it, and I
Yep.
emailed it to my attorney, and he's going to send it to her attorney, and it's going to come back. It's going to go back, and I will not communicate with you unless it's through an attorney.
Well,
And
especially
so I'm holding her accountable.
Yeah, and as you should. You're doing it right, man. And she's hurt.
I do it.
She's hurting herself now, but I was just going to say she's hurting herself, and it's hurting her position, and it's going to, is it going to blow up in her face enough to where they give you full custody? Probably not, but it's going to undermine
No, I don't
her.
expect that.
But it'll undermine her enough to where she's it's not going to go pleasant for her. So
It's going to keep going. We're going to
Yeah.
have years of this. She's going to keep repeating this. So I just keep building the case of being the good parent, slamming her with, we need to talk. The kid's got this problem, and this irritates the daylights out because they want to make it about them.
Oh yeah.
But what I want to say is that parental alienation is the person with a personality disorder using the children to get supply off of the target.
Yep.
That is it in a nutshell.
Yes,
They
it
are
is.
sucking. They are just using the children to gaslight, manipulate, so they can giggle and enjoy themselves, and then use the kids to do this. And when
Yeah,
you
that's
understand
horrible.
that is exactly what is going on, your kid is going to act up and do all this because the kid is being made to, because
Mhm.
the kid doesn't understand.
Oh,
It's
dude,
not the kid's fault.
It's
Mhm.
funny just what you're talking about. What the scenario with the kids and the grades. I went through that with both of two of my kids. One of my kids was always good at school, but no, and it's it's the environment causes kids to just, their brains scrambled, and then their self-esteem
like
gets
the Hitler
worn.
youth. Yeah, that's exactly it.
And it's tough, but they can come around. My youngest this last little progress report I got wasn't so great, but she went from basically straight D- on everything to, being on honor roll. And since she started high school, she's been killing it. So this year, right now it's a little tough. She's fell behind on one class, but,
Gotcha.
but no, man, hey, thanks for sharing that. I really appreciate it. And I'm glad to hear that
You're welcome.
getting some success with that.
Yeah, I learned their weaknesses, and you use it against them because they can't admit they're wrong and they can't give up control. So if you're asking for them to share and co-parent, they can't do that, and that's what you use it against them in the court. All right, thank you so much. Love your show.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that's they can't see the forest through the trees. And the thing is that he brought up a really good point. And well, actually, I guess that psychologist did, is that we have to give them the rope to hang themselves. Too many times we try to jump in and we get too involved, and it's like the short-term pain typically will produce better long-term gains. And I fell right into this trap too. Whenever we initially got our custody, we were going through the temporary orders, and it was like, okay, she was saying I was a scumbag, and it was like kind of like whenever the attorneys and the judge had their little private conversation, they came back out, and the judge is like, I'm not buying this story. So we're going to increase the time. We're not going to go 50-50, but we're not going to go with what the mom wanted. And so I walked out with more time, and I actually was pushing. They were going to say that initially I was seeing the kids like twice a week and every other weekend. And they're like, we'll do, every other weekend he can have extended. Like I would get like, I think Thursday night to Monday. And so that the kids would go to school from my house for 2 days when they were with me. And then they took away my dinner visits. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's going to mean I'm not going to see, right now I'm seeing the kids every few days, at least for dinner. So I pushed to get that back in there. And the judge was like, well, now you're going to be more involved. So that means if there's a problem, that means, you're more responsible for it now. And I didn't catch it at the time, but it was like, look, deal with this so you can build a pattern to show what the problem is. And I stuck my nose in it. And there were so many times that I could have basically just stopped and let her light herself on fire. And I didn't do it because I was, I didn't want to do it to the kids. I didn't want, I wanted to try to make sure everything was as good as possible. And maybe that's why I got the one thumbs down, is because, I was saying, hey, you know what? The guy has a point, right now, go ahead and let the kids have the problem just to demonstrate what's going on. And I understand. I didn't do that. I was I was fighting for the kids. I was trying to work with the teachers. I was trying to mitigate the damage the ex was doing. And it just masked the problem. So, oh man. Okay. I lost one of my callers. I apologize. I'll go to the next one, which I think is Tiffany. And then I'll probably wrap it up after that because my back's starting to seize up. But on that, hello, welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, it is you. How's it? Like I said, my back's. I've had better Januaries. I can say it that way.
So just to follow up with the topic, I mean, choosing the unorthodox option of just stepping back and letting the world crumble. I mean, honestly, it gives you some benefit. You're not directly in the way, and I mean, you still take that punch to the face.
Yeah.
But it shows so much in such a small amount of time. The supervisor that I have actually works for CPS during the day.
Oh, wow.
And I'm on visit 3.
Oh, cool. How are they? Okay.
It's going good. Visit 3 was interesting. I noticed that the kids weren't wearing socks. So I did an impromptu shoe buying session and talked about how good it is to make sure that we have good footwear, since it takes care of our feet and we do a lot of walking. And lo and behold, 3 of the kids didn't have any socks on.
Isn't it cold where you're at?
And the third one didn't even want to take off his shoes or buy any.
That's crazy. Now, was the supervisor there with you watching all this?
Yeah. she noticed it and said, you know, it's important to wear socks.
Oh my God. He delivered the kids to a supervised visitation without properly,
no socks.
without proper attire. That is brilliant.
In
That's
New
great.
England with snow.
Yeah, I mean, I could understand maybe in California because we're a bunch of idiots here, right? I mean, you wear a sweatshirt, you know, shorts and a jacket and flip flops. I mean, but not in places with real weather. Holy cow! But that's good for you, though, right? I mean, because if that's a person who's watching this and is also a part of the CPS thing, it's got to look like, well, wait a minute, what the hell's going on here? Wow.
The visit before that, one of my children had holes in his clothing. So I suggested we go and buy new outfits.
So does the supervisor go with you on that, or how are they doing that? I mean,
they're literally walking around with me, and that's, you know, it's kind of like having a friend tag along.
I mean, that's scary in some regards, but that's also good too, because they're seeing you in real environments and really seeing what's going on. That is good, Tiffany.
I mean, they already experienced a lot of Dad's manipulation. He thought the visits were every other weekend, and that's not what the court order said. So they asked me to produce the court order, and then I roped my attorney into it. And then we still went to the every Sunday visits. My attorney's like really pissed because,
I bet.
you know, we were all there. And the second visit, before we actually got there, he was pushing for it to be every other weekend. Like, that's what he thought it was. And then my oldest son, getting out of the vehicle, had told the supervisor that he would like every other weekend. And then during the visit, didn't mention it once. And then at the end, when Dad was picking them up in front of Dad, he said it again. And I texted her because she texted me to tell me, hey, just a heads up, this is what was said. And I said, don't you think it's odd that Dad was asking a couple days beforehand that it would be every other? Don't you think it's odd that he didn't mention anything during the whole entire 2 hours that we were together, that he had a problem with it?
That's, you know, I mean, especially whenever, if I remember you, I think I remember you saying that during your last court thing, the judge is like, hey, okay, you know, we need to get this going. If you guys want to do more, I mean, it's like all the indications are, let's get this resolved and get this moving. And, you know, he's still playing game. I mean, which you and I both knew, you know, that's exactly, I mean, it isn't unexpected, right? That's what I'm trying to say. But the fact that he's doing it in front of people
we've been waiting.
is good for you, you know?
Yeah. And the fact that we're still waiting for him to sign his interrogatories that were due before September.
He still hasn't done that?
Nope. He had 2 weeks after our case in our hearing in December. And now we're filing contempt charges along with some others because he's trying to manipulate the supervisors.
Is your attorney backing you up on that? I remember before you were saying that you had to have a little firm discussion with your attorney on how things were going to go forward. So are they supporting you on this now?
Yes, she's very upset that the father is pushing for less time because I'm footing the bill for it.
You know,
you know, it's costing me a good $200 a whack every single time I go to a visit. And I mean, that's once a week.
Well, and you're buying all this. Yeah. Well, but I mean, so you're paying money to see your kids, and then you're also going to make sure that, you know, and you're spending more money to make sure they have stuff. I mean, so you're just basically hemorrhaging money left and right that you shouldn't have to. But I mean, at least you're. Oh,
and they openly admit, because I asked them as soon as we get to the visit, I'm like, hey, are you guys hungry? And they're like, yeah, I didn't eat breakfast. And it's like, dude, it's noontime.
And they're saying that in front of my God, he's handing this to you. I mean, you know, obviously you have to go through the whole process, but geez. You know, it's so.
If I just step back and I let it go, I'm gonna make out come April.
Yeah. Now, Tiffany, you know, the thing that's crazy about this is I was so afraid when I was going through this to make sure that I didn't make a mistake, that I didn't turn around and, you know, send the kids with the wrong stuff or whatever. Or if I brought them to a thing, like when we went to the custody evaluator and stuff, it's like, okay, you know, they need to be well dressed and teeth brushed and hair combed. And, you know, I mean, it's like, I was freaking out trying to do that. And it's amazing. Well, but the thing is that he's been winning, you know, your ex has been able to play the game and basically put you on the ropes. So and to be honest, now that I think about it, my ex kind of did the same thing. It was like every opportunity she could make a mistake, she made a mistake, you know? And, I mean, it didn't necessarily, well, I mean, I guess it got me 50-50, but it's just amazing how these people just seem to just skate by. So anyways, I apologize.
And
I kind of went on a tirade
that
there.
She was gonna, it's all right. And my attorney said that she's going to bring up the fact that I went and visited him on Christmas, and his house is not
appropriate.
It's not a good looking house.
Yeah.
Not a good looking house. So
well,
she's going to bring that all up.
Good.
The behaviors, how he has been reacting, what hasn't been done this past year. She's going to bring it up to court in a contempt action.
Good.
So he will be responsible to answer to the court.
Good. Well, good news. I mean, good.
I think it is money well spent.
Yep.
And I get to see my kids to boot. So that is ice cream and sprinkles on top.
Well, hey, thanks for sharing on that. I'm going to try to get this last guy called back. I'm going to do that. Then I got to get out of here. Plus my ability to sit for much longer is really starting to go away.
Well, take it easy.
All right. Thanks, Tiffany. And thanks for the support. I appreciate it.
Yep. Bye.
All right. Let me hit the right buttons here. Okay. So, I see Lee had asked $200 for what? It was answered in the comments, but it's for the supervised visitation. Typically whenever you're ordered when you have supervised visitation, unless if you get to designate who the supervisor, quote unquote, is going to be, you have to pay someone to do that. So, you know, on top of everything else, you're not seeing your kids as much. So the support numbers are all changed. And then you also have to pay someone to sit there and watch you be around your kids. It's really kind of frustrating. Kind of frustrating is probably like not the correct way to say that. So, all right, I'm going to go to the next call, or the last caller, if it works. Hello, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hey, it's working.
How are you?
Sorry about that. I'm glad you called back. So what's going on?
Well, I don't want to keep you too long, so I'll try.
No worries.
Summarize it. My marriage was pretty bad, and I tried holding on to it mainly for the sake of the kids. Back about 8 months ago, my now ex and I had a fight, and she went to the police, and it wasn't physical, but she went to the police and said that it was. We're currently not living in the States. We're overseas, and the laws here are much different. And with the coronavirus and husbands beating their wives, they took it very seriously. And I was in jail for 2 months without a trial.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that.
During that time, the only reason that I was released from jail is because the stress and the fact that they weren't giving me my proper medication led to me having a stroke, which is also why I'm stuttering a little now. so yeah, so I had this stroke, and I went to the and it took them 5 days from the time I had the stroke until they gave me proper medical attention, which is part of the reason why I have the stutter. Anyway, when I got to the hospital, I said to my lawyer, I said, "Listen, I've gone through enough. I just want there to be peace. I'm really upset of everything that she did, and that has, but we have to move on, and we're always gonna be parents together. I gotta leave her, but let's do everything peacefully." Unfortunately, that's not the way she wants it.
Nope.
She called the police on me 2 more times. I had to shuffle into the police station with my walker, because now I walk with a walker, and they had to question me one time on contacting her, and I didn't contact her. They dropped that. Uh, Basically, I wrote on Facebook something like, "Oh, it's been 150 days and I haven't seen my kids." And she didn't like that because even though I didn't mention her name, it pointed blame at her. So that was basically the reason she called the cops. Then she called the cops. Oh, my daughter, said in school that daddy beats her. Now my daughter is 8 years old, and there was never a complaint. Then suddenly, after me being in jail and out of jail, all of a sudden now there's complaints that daddy beats the kid.
I'm so sorry you're
That
going
I
through
think
this, man.
It's crazy. And now, the craziest thing. I mean, I could seriously keep going on for hours. All the things she's done, but now she's trying to get. All of a sudden, she's trying being nice. I only saw my kids 5 times in 8 months. Even though the people are getting involved, this local CPS, and even the judges doesn't want to do anything. They're like retiring soon, and they don't want to be bothered. But it really is an insane story. But recently, she started being a little nice, and I'm trying to figure why is she being nice. And then a week or two later, what happens? I get a message from her that she wants me to sign to get our kids passports because she wants to go visit her family in the States. And there is no way in hell I'm going to let that happen until things are worked out, because it's a huge battle once that happens. Plus, when I was in jail, she stole all this money from me and the bank on my name, and it has to be paid back. And if she leaves the country and doesn't return, I'm 100% responsible. So I'm trying to get some sort of saving, from the court side. Before it's just, I have no clue what to do with this crazy person. It's just, I told the police when the last time they questioned me, I said, "Listen, my ex-wife is trying to kill me, and she's using you as the weapon, and also the kids. She's using the kids. She has the kids ask me questions, and then she takes the questions and uses them with the police, and it's insanity. It's insanity." And I'm just trying to let her, like you said,
hang herself.
Yeah, hang yourself. Exactly. But it's been 8 months.
Well, and then you're
And
dealing with all
I
these
just,
other medical issues too, man. I mean,
oh,
most of the time when I talk to somebody, they're dealing with that, but they don't have the other. I mean, it's a risk, but so let me ask you this. I mean, I know it's a little off back on the other topic. I mean, what's your prognosis with the stroke? Do they feel like do you feel like you're going to be able to get back to where you were? Or are you pretty much, this is your new normal now?
yeah, in the beginning, I couldn't talk. In the
Okay.
beginning, I couldn't stand up. So now I'm walking with the walker and I'm talking slower, but I'm talking.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to get back to where I used to be.
Yeah.
But we'll pray. That's all I could do is pray and work hard, and that's what I've been doing. And yeah, but my kid. Besides the thing that upsets me the most is my kids being involved in this war that I don't even want to be in war. If it was up to me, I'd just leave and that's it. But we have children
Yeah.
together, and I want it to be as peaceful as possible. But obviously, that it's impossible for her because she's the victim. And that's what
Yeah.
that's the story she's telling you. That's the story she needs it to be so that she can get money and support emotionally and financially. If she doesn't play that game, she's not going to get that narcissistic supply
Supply.
or that financial supply.
Yeah.
So, and everyone believes the people that know me don't believe her, but the people that don't really know me, and her new friends,
Yeah. They
they
believe
all
it.
believe her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy to believe the beaten woman,
Oh yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's what she's telling people. Oh, for I was married to her for 14 years, and people think that I beat her for 14 years. I never beat her once. It's ridiculous,
Yeah.
and I appreciate all that you do. You're one of the good voices on YouTube on this topic. So I just wanted to thank you. It's good to get a male perspective on this, and I appreciate you.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate you saying that. And just, keep plugging away. I'm glad to hear that you're getting some of your mobility and stuff back. I mean, even with you're talking fine. I mean, I understand what you're saying. So I know that probably was a lot of work to probably get to the point where you are now. So, just,
A lot of work.
just, I mean, and I
I mean,
can't,
I couldn't plus two in the beginning,
yeah,
and I'm a web developer, full stack web developer, and I couldn't even do simple arithmetic.
yeah,
So thank God it's getting better. My main, like I said, my main concern is my kids.
yeah,
They're having such. My daughter put on like she doubled her weight. She wasn't fat. Now she is really fat. My son, who's 2, he's having major behavioral issues.
yeah,
And while my daughter still loves me, you see there's this thing where she's lying on behalf of her mother, how all these things happen. It's either it's my fault or it's the judge's fault. Like we got divorced because the judge said that mommy had to divorce you. You know, and,
yeah, I know.
and and I don't even know why lots of this stuff is being discussed with her to begin with. But if it's gonna be discussed, be honest.
There,
Tell the truth.
Dude, she's telling the kids will figure it out. And part of the reasons that your kids are having such problems is they know fundamentally that it's a lie. And they're being forced to do something that they don't feel right with, but they don't have a choice in their own mind. You know, I mean, this is absolutely child abuse, but it's so hard to prove. And the damage to you, the damage to the kids, you know, I mean, what you're dealing with is the nightmare scenario that I worried about in my situation, and I worry about for a lot of people on this channel, is that this stuff affects your health to the point that you either have have a stroke. I had a friend of mine that happened to, and you know, I mean, that's life changing in and of itself, and it's absolutely wrong. I think you're right about not signing over the passports until this thing is resolved, because probably, I mean, I don't know if both of you guys are from the U.S., but if her family if her family's back here, you know, it would be real easy in the days of COVID to go back and just conveniently never go back to the country you're at.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we're both from the States, but and I could chase her to the States. He's hiring new lawyers, finding her, trying to get everything over, and it's complicated.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
well, and you have leverage now, right? I mean, you're almost better off to try to get this thing resolved, at least where you're at now, and you know, use it. I mean, I guess to your advantage as much as you can, but I don't know, man.
I'm trying. The main thing is she owes so much money to me. They have to split the assets. I left the house, and she took almost all the assets. And when I was in jail, she not only did she take all of the money out of our joint account, she made it go into the negative balance. And now they're coming after me for the money, you know. Yeah. And I'm disabled. I'm not working, and so it's really a nightmare. And I told the child, like the CPS evaluator, I said, listen, I've gone through enough the past few months that no one should have to go through, especially, and I didn't deserve any of it, and I'm not gonna continue fighting with this woman. I really want to. I want to make sure everything's right for my kids, but it's more important that when I'm 18, when my kids are 18, that I'm still alive.
Yeah,
that I fight
exactly.
Until I die.
Right. So no, and the sad reality is, I mean, I think every one of us on the channel feels the same way you do, that, you know, we don't want our kids to go through this, and we want it to be peaceful. And like you said at the beginning, you know, when you called in, you know, that's what you wanted, but all it takes is one person to want this to be a colossal train wreck. And then we're along for the ride, and so are the kids. You know, I mean, you just have to make sure you take care of your health as much as you can, so you don't have any more complications. And like you said, just be there for your kids and help them to get to adulthood, and to get out from underneath this experience, because this will screw up their life. You know, I mean, this will cause all kinds of problems. You know it, I know it, everyone else knows it, but no one will do anything. No one can do anything about it. So
I feel like a lot of this isn't even entirely my ex-wife. I think a lot of it is, but I think she was pushed by the lawyer.
Dude, let me stop you right there. Hold on a second. I want to stop you right there, because this thought, and I've made videos on this. She's doing exactly what she wants to do. A normal, emotionally healthy person would never in a million years do this to another human being that they made children with, who's actually a parent. You know, it's not, don't go down that path. I went down that path for a while myself. I was like, oh my God, you know, this is so messed up, because the ex's friends, the attorney, Bullshit. I'll just call it, I'll just say it like it is. It's crap. She did exactly what she wanted to do. The attorney may have enabled her. The attorney may have believed her crap, but do not for a moment think that she went in there all sheepy, blinky eyes, like, I don't know what to do. And he said, okay, well, we just need to basically set your ex-husband or set your husband up. We'll get him thrown in jail in the middle of COVID. So he'll rot in jail for two to 3 months because they won't even push the court date out and he won't even be able to get out. And everyone already thinks that. Bullshit. She did this intentionally. And no, if anyone did call her on it, she didn't want to hear it. So do not give her a pass thinking that someone tricked her into doing this. That she did this absolutely on her own. Do not give her a pass on that, man.
I agree that she did it. She did it knowingly 100%.
Absolutely.
But I also think that people, maybe she just enabled her. You're right. And I also think that a lot of those people that enabled her said, it'll be fine. We're here. We're with you. Those people are moving on. And that's part of the reason why now she wants to leave the country, because she doesn't have the support system that she had initially. And the reality is starting to become the reality.
These people destroy everything, and what you'll notice is that they mow through. Well, okay, they go through friends and associates and stuff, and when they burn through them, then they move on to a new set of new group of people, and that's exactly what your ex is doing. She's ready to go. Okay, everyone's starting to see through my crap, so I need to hit the reset button and move on to, find a whole nother group of people that will empower her victimhood and start over.
Right.
I'm so sorry you're going through this, man. Just keep hanging in there, buddy.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thanks again for everything.
All right. On that, guys, I'm going to start wrapping this up. But I just want to go back to that whole thing, because in the early parts of this, and 9 months, year into it, is still really early. The reality is these people will do this stuff because they don't have remorse. They don't have integrity. They don't have empathy for what they're doing. As soon as you or we are no longer a suitable source of supply, they cast you out. And if they don't need you working or whatever, if they have, well, actually it sounds like in that situation, they probably did. They will do this type of stuff. Do not for an instant try to give them a pass thinking that person that was in the illusion in the first part of your marriage, that's the real person. And that's the problem that we get into, is we look at it and we go, okay, that illusion, because we don't know it's an illusion, but that person that I remember 5 years ago would never do this. So it must mean that this person would never do this. So they must have been manipulated or convinced, or they were scared and confused and they just listened to other people with bad advice. That's bullshit. They absolutely are doing exactly what they want. They need to destroy you so that you can't expose them for who they are. They have to become the victim because it's just their mentality. And you're sitting there getting the mighty blows on it, trying to figure out what's going on and trying to rationalize it, and you don't understand it. The thing is, and I'll just, whoops, dang it, I hit the wrong button. I just want to scroll back over here. If you go to my main channel, my Mindset for Narcissistic Abuse Recovery, this absolute thinking video that I made 4 years ago. Holy crap. That video is critical in this, because you have to understand what you're dealing with, who they are, the emotional problem, potential mental problem, mental illness, personality disorder, however you want to classify it, is the cause of all this. And it's so difficult to see through the fog and the smoke and to realize exactly what's real. And the real part is, for the most part, is your relationship was an illusion. It wasn't based on reality. It was based on them trying to manipulate you and playing a part to get what they wanted. Emotional supply, security, money, finances, depends on how you want to look at it. And whenever they decide that we no longer fit that bill, we are cast out in an instant. And unfortunately, oftentimes they will do other things like the last caller was talking about. I've said this a lot, and I'll say it again. I believe in my situation, if my ex, or at the time, if my wife would have had some other mechanism of supporting herself besides me, she absolutely would have tried to get me arrested and get my career ruined, because, you know, just put me against the ropes, which she still did in a lot of ways. But because I believe that she needed my money, and she did, she's been retired on me for 8 years. She just recently, a year ago, finally had to get a job because the numbers are starting to, the money's starting to drop off. So guys, you have to be careful. You have to be careful on that. All right. I think we're close to, I don't know how long we're close to. What are we at? Wow, almost 2 hours. I did not intend to go to 2 hours. Okay, on this, I can't really say when I'm going to be back because I don't necessarily know. I mean, maybe I'll do something again tomorrow. I'm not sure. So sign up for everything I was telling you about if you can. Do the, let's see if I can pull it up. Not that one, back. There we go. Sign up for the SMS notifications, which you can only do it in the United States and Canada. The DSDLIVE, text DSDLIVE to 844-598-0012. That'll put you on the thing. So when something happens, you'll get a notification with the link to the show right at the, when I start. I did that. I think I did that today. I'm not sure if it went out. Maybe I need to look to see if that went out. So you guys should have received. Yeah. Okay. It did go out. So, that's a good way to make sure that you get the notification. On that. Hey, thanks so much guys for the support. I really appreciate the super chats that we got tonight. Actually, just looking at my phone, it looks like a couple of you guys even did some PayPal stuff. PayPal's a good way to do it because it's anonymous and it doesn't, flash up in the screen. So I really appreciate that. I just hit a button so I can't see it on my phone. On that, I'm going to start wrapping it up. The last question I'll see is Pepe says, can you ever get alimony removed? Well, here's the problem, Pepe. That is, in California, after 10 years, they classify the marriage as a long-term marriage, which in the state of California, the statutes say that that's lifetime alimony that only stops upon the death of one of them, me or the ex, or if she ever gets remarried. So there's no real advantage to her getting married. Now, there is a thing in California called the Gavron warning or the Gavron order, which has been, my attorney wrote that in there. And even when I talked to, when we had that other attorney on, Christine Gill, I think it was Christine Gill, she mentioned that. So I think there's some things I can do to get it reduced. I don't know if I could ever get it removed, but I think I could potentially get it reduced. So on that, guys, let me do my outro. And I just want to say I miss doing these shows, and I hope I can get back into doing it. I do want to say thanks. I do really want to say thank you for the channel members. I know I haven't really been doing a great job on the channel membership thing, but thank you so much for the folks who have become a channel member, are helping support, keep the lights on and everything. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me that that a handful of people, well, actually still scrolling, a lot of people are willing to do that. It really means a lot to me. I really appreciate it. So on that, you guys take care of yourself, and I'll see you on the next one.